Well, good afternoon, friends. Good afternoon, or should I say good morning or good evening, depending where you are tuning in from. I am here in Sherwood Park, Alberta today, and a sunny day out there. And my name is Dune Wynn, and welcome to another episode of Conversations with Dune and Friends. Today we have a wonderful guest joining us for an hour and a bit, and we may go a little bit longer, being that it's a nice sunny day. I think we're going to chat until we're kind of good with the sharing here and music and lots of different things to share with you. We have a fantastic guest joining us from the beautiful British Columbia, west coast of Canada. We have Mr. Harpdog Brown joining us. Can you still hear me in the green room there, my friend? Wonderful. So we're ready to go here. So give me a sign, folks, if or maybe a message in the comment if you can hear me loud and clear out there. And again, hopefully you grabbed your favorite coffee or drink, tea or whatever have you, and we will continue here. Now I hear a little bit of a echo coming back from the green room. So if you could turn down the volume a little bit, Mr. Harpdog Brown, it would possibly the cause here on the phone because I'm starting to hear a little bit of a. But while you do that, I'm going to do the introduction. All right. So Dark Brown brings the modern vibe to a vintage New Orleans blues sound. Harpdog Brown has earned a solid reputation as a real deal purveyor of the classic electric blues. Think of the old classic records and Sun record of the late 40s and the early 50s. These days, he has been more and more touring as Harpdog Brown and the Uptown Blues Band, a vintage New Orleans blues sound featuring slide trombone, keyboards, bass, drums, and often a saxophone as well as clarinet. Now, still a vintage vibe, just a different vintage. This music will move you. Now, they perform mostly original set and often include great songs of masters from that era. Think of Louis Jordan, Satchmo, Sonny Boy Williamson, Wynonie Harris, even Duke Ellington. Now, audiences that are raving about this new show, they're just loving it. Now, he's been called a blues evangelist, and that's been very fitting moniker. He says, I speak the blues like it is the truth. And it is. He was recently quoted. He says, I do feel like I'm the servant of the people, a missionary, if you will. Music can heal people if they pay attention to the messages in these songs. Now, he delivers those messages using the vintage sound, whether it be with his low-down classic blues band, the Traveling Blues Show, or with his new Uptown Blues Band. Harpdog says, blues has healing power. It's a beautiful celebration of our perfectly flawed lives. Now, we help people forget about their issues of the moment and then help them realize that we all have issues, and that's okay. Vancouver-based Harpdog Brown was born in Edmonton in 1962 and an adopted child who has felt somewhat detached his whole life. He says, a lifelong battle of not feeling like I belonged. I feel like I was born for the circus, born to travel. The blues tapped me on the shoulder years ago and said, this is where you belong, son. So the blues became my circus, and there's no better way to travel than with a band, he says. Harpdog Brown is a gifted vocalist and an imaginative harmonica player. He has won the 3 consecutive Maple Blues Award for Harmonica Player of the Year, 2014, 15, and 16. 3 years there. And the Fraser Valley Music Award has 3 consecutive Western Canadian Music Award nominations, a junior nomination, again, Juno nomination, and is the only Canadian to win the coveted Muddy Award. In 2016, he was nominated for the 3 Maple Blues Award again. Harmonica player, male vocalist, and album of the year for his latest release, Traveling with the Blues. Now, with the Blues released in 2016 and is listed as number 9 on the Roots Music Report Top Classic Blues Album of 2017. Now, this follows his top 20 charting 2014 release, What It Is, Roots Music Report International Blues Album. So, as you can imagine, all of the stories that this fine gentleman would have to share with all that many decades of music and deep in the blues. Help me, folks, in welcoming our guest all the way from beautiful British Columbia, Mr. Harpdog Brown. How are you doing, sir?
Well, I'm doing okay considering. I guess it's some crazy times. I got to say, what a time to be alive, right? We're sort of like living in a science fiction movie, right?
Yes.
So yeah, I'm enjoying my time off. I mean, I was averaging about 65,000 kilometers a year for the last 5 years, touring all over North America, and I guess I was kind of like living what they call the cowboy life, where you sleep when you can and you just perform tired. And when I got back I was heading out east in March for my first tour of 2020. And I got as far as Sault Ste. Marie on the 15th of March when the first show, which was a sold-out festival in Aurora, outside of Barrie, Ontario, that canceled. That was on the 21st of March. So, I got as far as Sault Ste. Marie on the 15th on my way to Toronto. And then, of course, we had St. Louis, Chicago, upper state New York, Rochester and Syracuse, Ottawa, Montreal, Toronto, Hamilton, and all that just kind of got, canceled and postponed. And so I stuck around with friends of mine in Sioux for about 10 days, wondering, do I go the extra 8 hours to Toronto or do I turn around and go back west? And thankfully I was with friends, so I wasn't hemorrhaging money in a hotel room for 10 days eating Domino's pizza. I was actually, chilling in a nice, comfortable home with a lovely couple that I know from Sioux. I teach the guy harmonica from time to time. He's on the Sioux Ste. Marie's Blues Society. So that's how we kind of got to know each other about maybe 4 years ago as I was touring through Ontario, right? So it was nice to have some time down. And when I got back, Dune, it would have been about the end of the month of March. It was the first time I arrived anywhere without a departure date that I can recall, So I realized how exhausted I was when there was nothing bullying me to go to work. I just really caught up on a lot of sleep, and I just found myself just empty, just spent, as far as like artistically, because, I'm actually sitting in a little mobile home I bought in Lacombe, Alberta, about 2 years ago. However, like in 2019, I slept in my bed 27 nights.
Wow.
So, a lot of hotels, a lot of motels, a lot of miles, a lot of oil changes, a lot of gas, and a lot of fun. But also a lot of money spent. So it's just been, I guess I'm not really that antsy about performance, because once again, I mean, that's all I did, right? Yeah. And so this pandemic, if you will, has kind of forced me to slow down and and kind of tread water, and it's been kind of it's been welcomed. I mean, I'm not fighting it. I'm just kind of living in the moment and enjoying. Hey, you know what? Yesterday, I bought my first lawnmower, put it
Mm,
together, and cut some lawn. Now, I remember in 1994 getting, I was in a grocery store because I had rented a room in a house on the east side of Vancouver, and I knew I was going to be there for more than a month. And I thought that was cool because, most of the time, like I said, I got in this business like 39 years ago,
yeah.
primarily to travel, right? And I
Mhm.
did a lot of travel, and I
Yeah.
still like to travel, and I hope that that may open up again. But I mean, if it doesn't, I don't know. Maybe I'll become a long distance trucker. I don't know. But anyway, so
You know what? I think we're going to find our way through this music performance. We're going to find some new combination, whether it's technology augmented or where. So I think, even though going forward our music might be different than it was before in terms of delivery, I think we're going to find something pretty exciting, is my gut feel, my gut feel. And I'm glad to hear you enjoying a bit of a break as well, right? Is what I'm hearing.
yeah. Well, that's the thing is like you know, it took this for me to realize how exhausted I was because, like I said, I'll tell you something. In 2000, I think it was 2011,
Hmm.
10 or 11. I was invited to play a wedding in Germany,
Mm.
and I was working with Graham Guest as a duo back then. So the guy had seen me in Portland in 1994. This German dude,
Yeah.
uh, and he was getting married, and he reached out to me, asked me if I'd bring the Bloodhounds, to Germany for this wedding on a riverboat. It was a couple of things that were going on with him, and I did two shows, but I figured out, I kind of talked him into just me and Graham coming. So when I flew from Calgary to Frankfurt, and then we got to the first stop. We were in two different locations in like for 5 days in Germany, and
Hmm.
of course, it was it was the longest flight I've ever been on because I'm North American and I haven't really flown Europe or Asia, so of course Graham Guest has had more experience with long flights and such, so when we got up from our kind of nap, and it was like maybe 7 o'clock that night, and I'm out there on a patio having a smoke and thinking about some food.
Hmm.
Um, and I'm talking to Graham, and I mentioned like uh, jet lag, the concept of jet lag. I didn't feel any different
Hmm.
than what I normally felt, and he explained it to me like this. He said, "Well, dog, in order for jet lag to really to the effect of jet lag requires one to have a routine, like saying I get up at 9 and I go to bed at 10 or that sort of thing. Like it's some kind of a daily routine." And he said, "And you and I have no routines. We live like the cowboy's life." He was the one that said, you know, performing tired and sleeping when we can. So I realized that I've been living with jet lag for years.
Hmm. Yeah.
So, it's just once again is that it's just when it's bigger than you are, and the call is hit the stage, you just dust it off, you get on the stage, you forget about how tired you are. I remember when I was a kid and I was, we were poor folks, so I never had, you know, brand new hockey skates ever in my life.
Hmm.
And a lot of times the skates were too small for me.
Yeah.
Now, my feet hurt unless I had the puck on my stick. And then for some magical reason, when the puck was on my stick, I forgot about how my feet were hurting, right?
Yeah.
So I guess
The brain
it
is
boils
a
down to
wonderful,
when
powerful
something's bigger than you are, you don't really, notice the small things, right? So,
thing.
and the small thing was exhaustion.
Yeah. So that's an interesting thing to for our viewers to kind of just reflect on. In life, we get to focus on things, and whatever it is that we focus on, the big things that we deem as the big thing we focus on, the rest sort of fades away as being less of a big deal, right? So yeah, very important kind of story about how as we manage our focus, we manage our life, I guess, right?
Well, we adapt, right? We adapt to a lot of things. We're very adaptable. I mean, realistically, I guess, right? So
Mhm.
it boils down to, I think, where your heart is, like what it is that you love to do. And if it's, bigger than you, then you just listen to it. It's kind of like, my life is my bully, right? So, and in the service industry, it kind of pokes me in the back of the head, and I get off my comfortable chair and I go to work. So
Yeah, yeah. I would love to maybe just start off by sharing a video for our viewers so that those who know you well would just get reminded of the kind of music that you play and sing and perform, but also those who may not have heard you live maybe hear a clip here. I'm looking at the clip that says Waterfront Festival in Portland, Oregon. Tell us about that. It was 1994, I think it was.
yeah. Now, so I was the first Canadian to play the Waterfront Festival. I was the only Canadian to play the Rose City Blues Fest, which was the year prior.
Mm-hmm.
The Waterfront Festival started in 1991,
Mm-hmm.
and I played there in 92. And then again in 94, I got on the main stage, and that's where they had, the 6-camera shoot. And of course, it was 1994 where I also signed a little deal with a ma and pa kind of record label called Candlelight Records. We recorded the album Home is Where the Harp Is down in Portland at the Candlelight Cafe. And that was the album that was nominated for the Juno, and it won the Muddy Award out of Portland's Blues Society for the best Northwest release of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this is also like the largest outdoor audience I've ever had the offered the opportunity to approach and to address. They had about over 20,000 people there that day. It was July 4th, 1994, main stage. We were followed by Little Milton was the headliner that day. So now I'm going to tell you, it's a little pixelated. It's not ideal. It's it's a video VHS transformed to a video compact CVD. It was before DVDs were happening. So I'll apologize that it's a little pixelated, but it's still kind of cool to see. And of course, I chose the song "Home Is Where the Harp Is." I wrote this in Portland, a song about life on the road.
Yeah, well, wonderful. Let's take a listen. Let me know if you can hear it, my friend, and I'll go start it here.
Yeah, I can hear it. Chopping up.
Fantastic. That's wonderful. So 1994, that's a few years ago, hey?
Yeah, you know, I played there last summer, July 5th, Friday the 5th of July.
Hmm.
And it was like 27 years since the last time I played there. So it was kind of nice. Of course, we
Yeah.
did two shows in one day, the main stage and then the acoustic stage. I think where they had actually had a dance floor. They've grown a lot since 1994. The Waterfront Festival is definitely one of the best music and blues festivals in North America.
Wow. Wow. So tell me early on, do you play more in the US or United States or more in Canada? If you kind of average over your career.
Well, you know, in the '90s we started playing the Pacific Northwest,
Mhm.
and you know, so we're talking Montana, Idaho, Washington, Oregon. I never really got it down to California until like 2016 when we recorded the "Traveling with the Blues" album, and then I started getting back into work in America. The last time I played America was the day my son was born, 23 years ago. So I was doing a lot of work in the '90s. McKinley was born in '97, March 19th, 1997, and I was playing Boise on the 21st. So we left, about 6 hours after he was born. I hit the road, head south to Boise, and then out, west to Oregon. I was gone for about 11 days, and it was the first time in my life I felt like I left somebody behind, at home. Um, Being an adopted child and a foster child, a natural born bastard child. I was born out of wedlock into a 15-year-old Catholic girl.
Yeah.
Never really felt like I belonged to anybody. Like you said in the starting of our episode here.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, the closest that in my life at that time, that was the closest thing to a real solid DNA connection. Because I really have had no real DNA connection. I was sort of raised like a wolf pup in a you know well, put it this way, my good God fearing adopted family and I we're kind of like opposites, like they're
Mhm.
the ones that don't shake it up and stir it up and spit it out, and they're kind of just the meek, uh, good following, good kind of people, and of course I'm a shit disturber. I guess I've always been one, and I'll die that way. It was new territory for me to actually feel connected to somebody as deeply as I did when I held my newborn son, and then pretty well just hit the road. So
Yeah.
um, yeah.
Cool. Cool. So in all the music, let me just recap here. How many decades would you say you've been performing live professionally?
Well, four. It was 1979. I started as a guitar player actually,
Oh yeah.
and I was one of the first gigs I had was actually I was teaching guitar in a little music store on the west side of Edmonton, right out of high school,
Hmm.
and so one of my students had a great kind of a natural John Lennon voice, even though he didn't want to try to, sound like Lennon, but he just had a really great voice, and the two of us, harmonized well together. And we just, we put a show together, did a opening act at a New Year's gig. He can't. He chickened out that day. We were rehearsing in his basement. Eric Herman is his name, and yeah, he just lost his confidence. So I went and I did the very first solo gig I ever did, opening up for this blues band called Bad Habits in the basement of the it was in Weston. It was sorry, Meadowlark Mall. There was a bowling alley, but underneath the bowling alley was some banquet rooms that were owned by a lounge. For some reason I can't remember the name of the Red Baron Inn. There you go. So the Red Baron Inn, and so they had this big, ballroom downstairs, and we opened up for the Bad Habits. Well, I did it solo. I just kind of believed that the show must go on, even if you lose, your main singer. So I just did it myself, so then I kind of continued doing solo work. But prior to that, Eric and I, my first paid gig was at a comedy club down in the basement of the Grand Hotel on 102 and 102, right across the street from where, I don't know, the Greyhound station used to be, if it's not there anymore. But there was a downtown. I guess we don't even have Greyhound anymore, so it's probably a vacant building. But it was in the basement. It was called Jester's Comedy Club, and we were opening up for comics Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. I think we made $30 a piece in a steak dinner, and we got to watch the performance of the comedians after we opened up. So that was our initial, starting of the business of live music and performance and stuff, right? So that lasted a little while, and eventually, that kind of just moved on. I became a solo guy working, singing and playing guitar on a West End, a little place called the Crazy Horse Lounge. And it was there where I walked in kind of feeling like a guitar player who could sing. And within about 6 weeks, I became a singer who could play the guitar. Like my guitar didn't get any better, but my vocals did, with the experience of playing. Once again, Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturday nights. And we used to rip it up. We had a lot of fun. I had all my friends showing up and, digging. I was just singing through one side of a twin amp and playing on the other side of the twin amp. And the twin amp was sitting up like where the TV would be in the lounge, above me. And I was just sitting on a stool and just, pouring it out, right? So that's kind of how it all started. That would be like 1979. So 39 years.
Yeah. Well, wow. Well, that's so. Any thought of ever picking up the guitar again, or is singing and harmonica where it's going to be at for the rest of the career?
Well, I still write with the guitar. In fact, I took a couple of lessons from Tim Williams. When we all of a sudden had this time off. I own a hollow body electric guitar I bought about a decade ago. But I found a nice little flat top acoustic guitar. Bought it on Kijiji from somebody down at Red Deer for a little over $120 or something. And I started taking. I took 2 out of the 3 lessons I paid for from Tim Williams. He still owes me one, but it's up to me to go book.
Yeah, yeah. You're.
But, yeah, I just it's something that I felt that it's an accompaniment. I just became more of a singer, and of course the harmonica was the most difficult instrument for me to figure out how to play. But it's the one that is once again it's like another voice, and so I kind of approach my harp like my other voice. So it's kind of just I'm a 2 voices will travel kind of thing. I think when it comes down to it, I prefer more musical guitar players. Like I said, I can get around a guitar. I play everything I do, from playing around for 20 minutes on the piano or whatever it is. Everything comes from within. So it's always my stamp of feel. But I just know that there's always going to be a better guitar player to serve my needs better than myself. When I was 16 years old, I was working for a construction company in the summertime, and it was raining. I was driving a Packer, so they let me work around a yard, and they sent me up to do a little job to drop a belly pan off a D8 cat, and I'd never done it before, and what happened was as the last bolt came off, the belly pan came down and crushed my left hand. Like, you see how twisted that is? All right?
Yeah.
Compared to this one, you see if you put them side by side.
Yeah.
So my left hand, as you can see, that. So I did get my dexterity back, but and just that would be my fretting hand, and it just that sort of put a bit of a wheel or a monkey wrench in the gears for me ever being like a sought after guitar player, So
Yeah. Hey, Harpdog. Something has
yeah,
happened to your sound there. It was really kind of nice and warm at the beginning. In the last minute or so, it went a little tinny. So here's what I recommend. I'm going to play the next video. So while the viewers are enjoying the next video, you're going to maybe exit the phone there and come back in and see if that fixes it. But let
okay.
me play that next video. Now, I don't see the video link for the Kid Ramos link. There's no link there. So I'm going to just play the next one, which is the Blue Frog Studio. Tell us about the Blue Frog Studio in White Rock, BC in 2018. Were you able to hear what I just...
Yeah. Now, let me tell you, you went offline for a minute or two during that the video where while I was talking, it said host went offline, and then you came back online. So, but the audio is off, eh? Or it's just not. So I'm going to shut this down. Oh boy.
I'm just going to play this video. Okay, so give me a second. I think you're sounding a bit better. So let me bring you back in here, my friend. So, okay, I'll bring you in and let me know if it's all good. Are we good? Yeah?
Yeah, you sound good to me.
Yeah, you sound good as well.
I'm going to try to find that Kid Ramos video. It's an awesome one.
Yeah. Now, I don't happen to see it in what you sent me. You sent me the description, but not the link, I don't think. So I'm just going to play this one. We'll look for that Kid Ramos one in just a moment here.
I'm digging it up now. Okay.
Yeah. So I just, for whatever reason, it wasn't in the what you sent me.
That could be, it was like, 2 o'clock in the morning when I was doing that.
Yeah, no worries. No worries. So here we go. Let me know if you can see this video, my friend.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to hit play. Tell me if the sound comes through okay.
Yeah, sounds great.
Why do men go crazy when a woman wear her dress so tight? Why do men go crazy when a woman wear her dress so tight? Must be that same old thing to make a tomcat fight all night. Why do all of these men try to run the big leg woman down? Why do all of these men try to run the big leg woman down? Must be that same old thing to make a bulldog hug a hound. That same thing. I said that same thing. Now tell me who's to blame. The whole world is fighting about that same thing. Evening gown. What made you feel so good when your baby get up evening gown? Must be that same old thing to make a preacher lay his Bible down. It can happen with that same thing. I said that same thing. That same thing. I said that same thing. Wrote this one.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So, yeah, I mean, you play on a lot of different stages and whatnot. Do you have a favorite kind of stage, my friend? Is there one stage that you say, you know, I love this kind of stage or anything like that?
Well, you know, I'm kind of, I'm comfortable with most stages, you know. I mean, I've had that question, you know, what's your favorite place to play? You know, and my answer is, well, the one I'm playing at. You know, I'm wherever I am is my favorite place to be at the moment of time I'm at. You know, but I put it this way, you know, I love, you know, playing theaters and large festivals, and you know, with a larger audience, a larger stage. You know, the world's smallest stage that I got 5 of us on was at a little joint in Chicago called Smoke Daddies.
Mm-hmm.
And the stage was basically like, you know, a postage stamp, you know, so we somehow figured out to get 5 of us on the postage stamp to perform that night last October. So, you know, I don't really appreciate those really tight quarter stages. So it's nice to play like that particular video is a very fine, one of the finest, you know, venues in Canada, White Rock. It's technically a recording studio. It's called Blue Frog Studios,
Hmm.
and and they started doing live performances, where they'll seat 100 people in. And, both times I played there, three times I played there since 2014. We've sold 2 shows out in one night. So we get like 100 people come in at 7 o'clock, get a 90-minute show, and then we sweep them out and bring in another 100 people in and do another 9:30 to 11 show, and then say goodnight, So it's very fine sounding, and of course they've got a 6-camera shoot, so it's really an awesome place. But then, the first place I played in Vancouver when I moved out there, like 1988, my very first gig was in the Commodore Ballroom, and there's just no better place than the Commodore Ballroom, especially back in the day when Drew Burns owned the place. He ran it like it was a big house, and he treated all his artists like they're a family. And, so God bless him. He's passed on now, but he was just a one of a kind, Drew Burns, from the Commodore Ballroom, Granville Street. That's a
Wonderful.
1,200 seater with a spring loaded dance floor that can seat another 500.
Hmm.
So you can actually get like 1,700 people in that venue. Right?
Wow, wow. Now, tell us about some of the awards you have achieved and won over the years, my friend. What's the some of the latter ones include some in Edmonton as well, right? Tell us about the various ones.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah. Well, I was inducted in the Edmonton Blues Hall of Fame a couple summers ago,
Yeah.
and that was really nice to be recognized from your own hometown. The story or the song. I'm a stranger here in my own hometown.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
got to the point, around the turn of the century where I felt like, and I was living back in Edmonton then, and and I had an album I wanted to release, and I couldn't find a venue that would open the doors to let me do my show, and it's like I felt like a stranger in my own hometown, and I
Hmm.
thought to myself, well. If you listen to the story of Jesus, he had to hit the road too,
Yeah.
So I got into this business to travel, and I decided not to give up just because Edmonton didn't want me to play in my own hometown
Hmm.
back then around the turn of the century.
Yeah.
It was, it boiled down to this, Dune. There was a couple, 3 people that were kind of like had the keys to the Cadillacs,
Hmm.
and nobody wanted me to drive.
Hmm.
So I felt like I couldn't get arrested in my own hometown. So but that still didn't stop me, and that was like like I said, that was 20 years ago now, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, but yeah, it's just I'm sorry. I guess I kind of lost that question.
Tell us more about the other awards
Oh,
as well. You won like
award, yeah. Well, so yeah, so
many awards. So tell us a bit more. Just focus on awards for a moment. It's always fun to
okay, yeah.
hear
Pardon
about
me.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess the first award would have been the Muddy Award in 1994. Down in Portland, Oregon, and of course, being the only Canadian to ever have a Muddy, that was pretty. That was a big feather in my hat, and for the whole band, I would say. But
Hmm.
you'd have to ask them. But it was definitely a big feather in my hat to be acknowledged as a recording artist in Portland, Oregon.
Yeah.
So that was the Muddy, and of course, then there was that. We also got nominated for Juno in '95 for that same album.
Hmm.
Now, then I didn't really, that's 1994, '95. I became a father in '97. I hit the road that week, the day that he was born. 2 months later, I'm in Winnipeg, and I'm thinking, I don't want to be engaged in the growth of my son by way of some photo in some hotel room somewhere in North America. So I took myself off the road. I planned for 6 years to, play that handout as a father.
Hmm.
Because I figured there would always be a place for, me to sing the blues. As long as there's a human race, to be a place. But, my son would only be a baby and a young boy for one time in his life. And I thought I'd best play that handout as best I could. sadly, I didn't really get along with his mother. So by the time he was 13 months old, we separated.
Mhm.
But now I still stayed off the road, as far as like I wasn't doing 40 weeks a year like I had been doing.
Yeah.
Um, and it's still kind of, I was father to my son, but we didn't live under the same roof.
Right.
So
Yeah.
we continued that, and I really never got back, seriously for. Well, my son was, we found out, born profoundly deaf, and so
Mhm.
this, what I thought of 6 years ended up to being more like about 12
Mhm.
before I really got back on the full track of performance and touring again.
Mhm.
So I started picking up some awards. Now you mentioned the I guess I have to update my bio because
Mhm.
last February I won another Muddy Award. So now I've got 4 out of the 6 consecutive nominations for Harp Player of the Year.
Mhm.
I won 4 out of the 6 in a row, and I was nominated last year for Vocalist of the Year and Album of the Year as well. Of course, those are like votes for the public, whereas the instrumentalists, that's just voted by the 50 qualified panelists from coast to coast for the Maple Blues Awards out of Toronto. The oldest blues society in Canada is the Toronto Blues Society. So I've gotten 4 of those. Now there's a Fraser Valley Music Awards. They came out of nowhere, I think in 2015 or 16. I
Yeah.
think it was 16. And I was nominated for, Blues Artist of the Year, and I won the Frazee Award for that. I was
Mhm.
nominated for that the other 2 years too. And I've
Mhm.
had a lot of other nominations. With Western Music Awards have nominated me as one of the Blues Artists of the Year for like I think the last 6 years. I'm nominated for that again this year.
Mhm.
But and then ultimately being nominated is a win in itself. Being one of 5
Mhm.
is enough of a win for me. And I never really got into this business for awards. Like that's a bonus. It's nice to be acknowledged.
Mhm.
But put it this way, my awards aren't on display anywhere. I don't have any. If you see, like I don't have any photos of me on a wall. I know what I look like. Uh, I got back there. There's Muddy Waters with Junior Wells on his left and Buddy Guy on the right. Photo
Mhm.
from Austin at I guess it was Antone's place. And I've got the Rat Pack over here. Just the 3 of them, though. Dino, Frankie, and Sammy. And
Yeah.
that's about it.
Yeah.
So um, my awards are that I love them, but they certainly don't define me. How's that,
Right.
right?
Yeah. No, wonderful. Well, thank you for sharing
That
that.
being said,
Yep.
I've also my manager took
Mhm.
it upon himself to send in submit one of the songs off the new album
Mhm.
to the International Songwriters Competition,
Mhm.
and uh, it's actually a song that I co-wrote with Mike Ross from Edmonton. I met Mike Ross, keyboardist. He was taking piano at Grant McEwen College on the West End, and I met him. That's where I put my first blues band together, Yesterday's Papers.
Mhm.
Um, and we wrote that song and we recorded it as a demo, but it never got published and never got really done with. And then, of course, when I found myself, almost 40 years later with the band with brass and reeds and keys like I had when I was, putting this thing together at Grant McEwen.
Mhm.
Um, it's like full circle. And I remembered that song when we started thinking about songs we could do and maybe record. And I pulled that out and kind of showed the band how it went. The song was called No Eyes for Me. It's kind of
Mhm.
like one of those, it's like getting caught in the friend zone of the girl you really want to be deeper than just friends with, but she's got no eyes for me.
Mm.
So, um, so that song, I believe it went through right to the finals, and I think it landed in like third or fourth. I can't remember now because once again, remember, awards don't define me. So I didn't even know that I was, that I'd submitted. I didn't know that I made it to the semifinals, or someone else said, but I think it was Deb Powers, an awesome gal from well, she lives in Calgary, but she's a Newfie, and I've never met a Newfie I don't love, and
same here.
Yeah, and the work ethic they got too, even my manager's Newfie, I love that. But so I saw on Facebook that Deb Powers had, made it to the semifinals of this, and I've known of this international songwriters competition. I just never submitted, So I congratulated her, and then she responds, "You made it too," and I'm thinking, I didn't know I was even in the race, So and then I forgot about it again because once again I don't think about awards and stuff. So then it's like Al Lerman in Toronto. He reaches out and posted that I made it to the finals. It's like I totally forgot that that was even going on. Now the coolest thing though is that out of the blues judges, Tom Waits, John Mayall,
wow,
Joe Louis Walker, just as three at the top of the top of the list. So I can kind of assume that Waits and Mayall and Joe Louis Walker at least heard my song once and didn't think it stunk because we made it to the finals. But so other than that, the reward for my life in the service industry is that I'm never bored, and that there's always somebody's darkness that gets a light shone upon it. I've realized that my life, and what I figured out, what I provide is a healthy distraction, to other people's lives. And then there was a point in time where I realized that I'm also providing a healthy distraction for my own life when I go to work,
Wow. Yeah.
I've gone to, I'll admit that sometimes I force myself to get out of my comfortable chair or couch and go to work on, say, a Thursday night down, on Main Street and National at the Ivanhoe Hotel in Eastside Vancouver. It's not about the money. And I kind of force myself to drive in to do that show. But every time I'm on my way back home, I'm not regretting going to work because something really deep happened with a complete stranger that just approached me and thanked me for shining some light on a dark day,
Yeah.
And so that's when I realized that I'm actually serving myself as well by going to work and doing this. Yeah,
that's fantastic. We have some comments coming in from the viewers. One of them is, Paula Perro says,
of course I do.
Yeah, he says, "I'm working. Damn it, miss you, dog," with the care kind of. But Papa King chimed in and he said, "Digging the interview, Dune. Hey, dog, I'm learning even more about you than now, brother." So, that's good. That's good. Thank you, Papa, for chiming in. MJ chime in. Really enjoy this. Saw Harpdog in the Crow's Nest Pass, and love his music, and a blues icon. Definitely, my friend. Yeah. So thank you for chiming in, folks. Keep those comments coming. So tell us, I want to ask you a question, and then I want to play another video for our viewers to enjoy. By the way, we're going to extend this. Mr. Harpdog, sir, you have a bit of time on your hand, I understand. Can we go longer?
Yeah, I know. I'm kind of long in the breath, aren't I? Yeah. So okay, we definitely got some more videos we should share and talk about, like what's happening now as opposed to what past. Yeah.
No, we'll cover all. What I meant to say was, you have some time, right? We can go longer, right? Okay, that's what I want to know. So hopefully our viewers will stay on, and we're going to continue to here, and the music, the photos, and the stories. So tell us about this song that I was hunting for, which I believe you have now sent me. This thing, the YouTube video, and it was, is it Kid Ramos, I think, is the one that you just sent me?
Yeah. Well, see, now, so that was my first California tour, 2017, December 2017. We had 3 shows in the LA region, and 2 of those shows we were kind of directed to hire, because we'd never played the LA region before. The promoter kind of persuaded me to hire a ringer, if you will, a Los Angeles ringer. So out of the 3 choices, I chose David Ramos, Kid Ramos, and he is just the sweetest guy, and I mean, amazingly talented player. But I mean, just his personality and his natural love for humanity is really what was the difference. Because there's a lot of great guitar players, but I didn't want anybody that would maybe be surly on anybody else, or have too much ego. Yeah. So David's very grounded, and so I reached out to him and hired him for 2 of the 3 shows in the LA region, and this one, so I got Jimmy Morello. Now his uncle was Joe Morello, the guy that played with David Brubeck and the like Take 5 and all that stuff. Like pretty famous drummer, Joe Morello. So Jimmy Morello was on my 2016 album, and he lives in, around Chico, California, up there, northern California, north of the Bay, north of Sacramento. So we hired him for that tour, and we played from San Francisco, Sacramento, all the way down to Los Angeles, into Vegas, and we played Tucson and Phoenix, and then worked our way back up. So anyway, this was the first California tour. I had my young fellow there, Jordy Edmonds, touring with me as a second guitar on this stage, because clearly Kid Ramos is first string guitar player. Yeah.
Yeah, before I hit play on that, there's some more comments streaming in. Keep them coming, folks. I really appreciate it when the viewers comment and engage. Here's some. Say hi to my uncle, Dog, for me. Loving this show. So that's cool.
That's one of my nephews.
Right, and Dan Piccinini.
Oh yeah,
Piccinini says, "Looking great." Doug, cheers. And then, of course, Linda chimed in. And, so lucky that Harpdog started playing in the basement of our house, sending a big hug.
That's right. Back when I was just a guitar player, we had a little band with their son and a couple other fellas from school, and they were kind enough to let us, stink up the basement. Love you, Linda.
Tell me if you can hear the sound here. Yeah.
I just listen to me, and do what I say. I don't move your head, don't move your hands, oh no, don't move your lips now, baby, just shake your head. I know the hips ain't bad, I know the hips ain't bad. I wanna see your hips, baby, shake your head, baby.
Fantastic.
That was a fun night.
Lots of fun. Yes, yes. So we got lots more to show. Viewers, hang around. We got all kinds of great photos to share, great stories to share, great music to share. We're going to make this the extended edition. Look at that, Mr. Mike Chenoweth chimed in here. He says, "Howdy, dog."
Hey, let me just say, remember the Dan Piccini?
Mm-hmm.
He's out there in like St. Catherine's, Thorhold. That they call it the Banana Belt down out there in the southwest, I guess, of Ontario. I just got off stage playing this Irish bar owned by an Italian guy that just you got to love him to know him. But the place is called Donegal's or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, got off stage and I come over to Dan's table. And the first thing he says to me is, "Having fun yet?" And I, without even thinking, I heard myself respond, and I've repeated this response because I liked it so much. But I said, "Man, I arrived with fun."
You arrived with fun.
I said, "I'm a carrier." And then I said, "On a good day, I leave with more than I came with." So yeah, I'm having fun. That's the name of the business. It's all about fun. Then once again, why do we go to a movie? Not to be disturbed. I would hope. Why do we go anywhere for any kind of entertainment? It's not for disturbance. It's for fun. It's that release of the stresses that we all get in our daily chores of life, whatever that may be, be it, the old saying that, a bad day at fishing is still better than a good day at the office. Some people may not like fishing, but, as an example, we all get that stress level comes in and we need some place to kind of release that. And it's usually something that we find fun. We don't go bowling because it's work. We go bowling because that's what we call fun, So anyway, nice to see all you guys chiming in, Papa Dog or Papa King, and I see Mike Mallon out there on the island up in Nanaimo, dear friend of mine, harmonica player, singer, band leader, and of course Don Jones up in Edmonton. I miss you dearly. I miss all you guys. Linda Norsworthy, how much I love you. This much.
There you go. Oh, we have to zoom out. Hey, yeah, I was going to say, I assume you can see the public tab and all the comments as they stream in. Wonderful. Yeah, wonderful. So let me ask you this. There's sort of a point in the conversation where I ask you, do you have a favorite and sort of a highlight story to share? It's like the top of your career kind of thing. And then I'm going to ask you for the bottom of that. Like, is there a low point where you have a story that goes with that? Love to hear those two stories before we roll the next video, my friend.
How about roll the next video and I'll sift through the stories.
You bet.
I know this isn't, family, but it's still not,
you have to select
triple X. So, yeah.
The next video is the 2000. Did I show the 2018 Blue Frog Studio? I think I did do that already. And,
well, see now here, Dune, there's more different performances. So I think I sent you some links of the new band, the Uptown Blues Band. With in fact, I noticed that one of my favorite drummers who lives in Washington chimed in telling me that my beard's getting pretty long, bro. Rick Jacobson, and he's in the Uptown Blues Band. I brought him up to Canada. I've toured him out east and all over North America as well. But so the other videos from the Blue Frog would have Rick Jacobson on the drums. And we did a CD release party a year ago, May 10th or something like that, at Blue Frog as well. So that's with the new stuff. So like,
I got it.
Yeah. I got it. So
let me bring it in here.
There we go. And I'll think about those two stories you want to hear, the top and the bottom. Right?
I got it. So let me bring it in here, and we're going to play. And just confirm for me that you can hear the sound when I start playing here, my friend. Right. You hear sound?
They wrote the song. It's all about love and money in that order.
goes on forever. And I know that's true. I got this road for love and money, bring them both back home to you. I've driven north up to Alaska, down south beyond San Jose, out west to Tofino, and east past Thunder Bay. All day. Classy places too. I bet some mighty tempting women, but I'm saving all my love for you. South Dakota, you know it did not keep me down. I'm still rolling down the highway and I'm headed right for your town. This here the road goes on forever, and I know that's true. I got this road for love and money, bring them both back home to you. Webb wrote that song about my life. I'm honored.
Fantastic.
So that's the title cut of the album, For Love and Money.
Well, love it. Love it. Yeah. So now, do you have a story? One of those, either a high point or low point, or were you just focused on watching the video and didn't think about it?
Well, I mean, life is a roller coaster, right? Mm-hmm. So there's highs and lows, and all the in betweens, and I mean, we're pushing almost 40 years of this. Mm-hmm. There's just so many that I really can't pull anything out that that wouldn't be eclipsed by another one. So and then I started thinking, well, what about low points? It's like, well, I guess, okay, let me tell you this. So around the turn of the century, right? Mm-hmm. Around when we came into the 2000s, mm-hmm. And I had this live recording from the VAT in Red Deer, and I wanted to release. Remember, I mentioned I couldn't get hired in my own hometown. I couldn't get arrested. Mm-hmm. So. And I was almost 40. I was like 38 years old in 2000. I was 38 or 38 years old, right? Mm-hmm. So I was pushing 40, and And I really started to, question, should I continue doing this? Maybe it's time to kind of just hang up the skates and just, and get a real job and, become a real person, just, like
Yeah.
just simplify my life, settle down, so to speak. And of course, my son was already, well, 3 years old, 4 years old. And, I was really considering, what else I could do, other than what I've been doing.
Yeah.
And I tell you, if it wasn't for Napster,
Mm.
Napster was in the media talking about, there was all that stuff that everybody was,
I
up
remember.
in arms about, piracy of music and all that, right?
Yeah.
Now, I had just got my first, dogged out, desktop computer that was kind of handed down to me from a dear friend of mine in Edmonton. Said, you got to get with the program, dog. Here's a
Hmm.
It's not a great computer, but it'll allow you to browse and email, and it gets you into the business of like the new age.
Yeah.
So I accepted it. Now I had a buddy of mine visit me that knew a lot about computers. He was also a sound guy. I asked him about Napster. He told me that it's he basically I'll try to cut to the chase here. He installed Napster on my laptop, or on my desktop computer that day.
Hmm.
And then he's like, okay, you gotta register, and he said people usually kind of make up their own names, because of the piracy business, And I sat down and I thought about it, and I thought, Harpdog Brown, that's who I am. So I registered with Napster as Harpdog Brown, not knowing
Wow.
much of anything about this. So then I get back, once I finish doing the, filling in the registry format, he gets back in the chair and he's showing me how to navigate through this website. And now I've never been here and I don't know shit from my Shinola when it comes down to any of this 20 years ago, okay?
Yeah.
So I never even, had a typewriter. I never even took that in school, So
Yeah.
anyway, so he's showing me the navigation, and so the first thing he says, okay, artist, and I said, well, he says, who do you want to search for? I said, I don't know. How about Harpdog Brown? He said, okay. So punches in my name. Then it's title, and I'm thinking album title, but I don't know any difference. So I think, well, Home is Where the Harp Is was distributed in America's stores before Canadian stores, when there was still music stores.
Hmm.
We were distributed in America in the lower 48, and then of course that was easy enough to get my albums distributed, through Sam the Record Man and HMV across Canada in 1994 and 95 as well. So
Hmm.
I said, "Home is Where the Harp Is." So he puts that in, he hits search, bang, it comes up. He says, "Now what do you want to do?" I said, well, download it. I wrote it.
Hmm.
So my first download on Napster was my own song that I pirated out of someone else's computer that turned out to be down in San Diego. Now, so we checked out a few other, artists. Some came up, some didn't. Big Day McLean wasn't there, but Long John Baldry was, so there was Amos Garrett was, of course. So
Hmm.
then he leaves, and I sit down, and I just punch in my name with no title, and I hit search. My 1992 first CD, Beware a Dog, it all popped up from first to last track, 15 tracks sitting there for me to download, as well as the whole album of Home is Where the Harp Is,
Hmm.
60 tracks. So I'm downloading these. When all of a sudden, pardon me, a box pops up on my screen and it's asking me if I'm the real Harpdog Brown. And I'm thinking, where did that come from? And then, well, of course, I realized I can actually respond. So I respond, but it took me forever to figure out that enter is send. And, so this was my very first communication online with the guy. I'm taking my songs out of his hard drive down in San Diego. So we get chat, and he tells me, wow, I know a shit ton of fans of yours all across North America and in Europe. And I'm thinking, really? Well, that's good to know because, I can't find a fan in my own hometown. I said, right? So, I guess Napster saved my career. If it wasn't for that moment in Napster, I may have decided to go into sales or something because, that's what I'm doing, even in the music business. I'm selling good times, right?
Yeah.
So, how's that for like this is a down story that brought me back up. How's that?
I love that story. I love that story. And I'll tell you, I have a quiz here. Our viewers out there, hand up or comment if you knew about that story. I bet you probably haven't told that story to too many people, right?
No, I think it was, I told him back 20 years ago, I remember doing an interview with a guy that was writing for, was it the C magazine in Edmonton?
Right.
Fish something.
Right.
It was last name started with a G, ended with a ski. But he did an article on me, and of course I told him that story because Napster was in the the main light of things, and I just thought it was great to kind of share the fact that there was some good that came out of, because you see, this is what I looked at too. We try on pants before we buy them. We take a car out for a test drive before we decide to, purchase a car. I guess we don't sleep in the bed, but we lay in the bed before we buy the bed.
Mm-hmm.
So, why shouldn't we not be able to actually hear every track off of an album before we decide that it either belongs in my library or not?
Mm-hmm.
So I figured that those artists that have like the one hit and then, and then the rest of the album's filler, they don't want you to know that you're paying for a whole album and there's only like one or two songs that are actually that you're going to enjoy.
Yeah.
Now in the blues world, we don't release 10 singles. We release albums that are kind of conceptual, I think, and it marks a time in our lives, and it reflects the honesty and the truth of our lives, and also lives around us.
Yeah.
So each album that I've released from 1992. Well, I mean, I did a cassette live at a sidetrack in '91, and then I was into CDs from '92 to dates to 1919 or 2019. Each album kind of marks a point in time in my life and the guys around. Hey, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Good to see you, brother. So yeah. Even I released a cassette that Jimmy Gabosh was with me. It was 1996, Jimmy. I was watching your archived time with Dune here just yesterday, and I took him up. It was a 4-week stand in Ketchikan, Alaska, and I played there a year prior.
Mm-hmm.
With a different lineup, and I met on our way out. I met a Tlingit native totem pole carver that did a blues radio show on KRBD radio in Ketchikan, Alaska, Rainbird Radio, and we did a little broadcast with them in 1995. But then I want to come back for another 4 weeks at a different venue, and I brought Jimmy and Kelly Cruz on drums from Calgary, and Gary Latimer from he's a Toronto guy, but he was living in Calgary, bass player. The four of us went up and did 4 weeks playing up in Ketchikan, and we did live broadcasts every Tuesday afternoon on KRBD with Israel Shotridge, the DJ, and he invited us over for dinner the last week we were there. Showed us his totem pole carving, double wide garage that was like no room for cars. It was just for totem poles. He's a famous totem pole carver, Israel Shotridge. So he tells me that he's been recording on his DAT, his ADAT machine, every performance, every broadcast that we were doing. Yeah, that's right, Shotridge. That's what I said, Israel Shotridge. So he was recording it, and he made me cassette tapes of all our broadcasts. Now, I'm listening to the cassettes, and it sounded like we went back in time to 1948, because we only had 2 microphones in the DJ booth. And So I put that on a cassette for a minute or two, and I called the album Raw Dog. But yeah, that was some fun days. That was a pretty wild experience being up in Ketchikan for 4 weeks. You get to know the people, you get to know the scene. We even got taken out on a boat. They didn't throw us off. They just let us eat some crab and enjoy a day off. It was nice. But so there. Here I
So
am rambling on
cool.
again.
Cool. We have had about all the way typically about 12, 13 viewers on, and so thank you folks for chiming in with your comments. Keep them coming, folks. Now, what I'd like to do is share a bunch of photos flashing by, and what I'd like to invite you to do is tell us a story or any sentiment that any of the photos sort of catch your attention as they fly by, and that will
Okay.
just sort of loop, and we have quite a few photos, so. I'm just going to put it on sort of the rotating here, my friend, and just go ahead and just share stories as they come
All right.
to you. All right, so here we go.
Well, that was a photo shot that I did with a cool gal in Toronto. I think she had some kind of a book that she was doing, but it was I can't remember now where it was, but it was kind of a famous spot. But yeah, that was 2017. Oh, look at that. 1991. There's Jerry Cook beside me. This is the set 92, the Bloodhounds in 92 outside of the old Arts Club theater behind the old Blackstone. It's no longer, it's just parking lot now.
Yeah, very cool. Now you were pointing out a person's. Let me just point to that person. Say that name again.
Yeah, so Jerry Cook is on my left. He's famous, and he's in fact he was just he's on my album playing baritone sax, and he was on stage in that last video at the Blue Frog. Dear friend of mine. We go back, to the late '80s. Jerry Cook on my left, and then there's Joe Hoare on my right. And on the far, like if we're looking at it, from the audience view, instead of like stage left is our audience right. So with the hat, that's Wayne Berzan, one of my all-time favorite songwriters in the world. And on the far, your left, my right, is Geordie Bolton. He was one of the 3 drummers we went through in the 2 years. That's the original Bloodhounds.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's there you are. This looks like it might be no, it's
That's
not.
Blues on White.
That's what I thought. I was going to say Edmonton for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Blues on White. And that's the day that when I was inducted into the Blues Hall of Fame. You might even find a photo of our lovely Jerry Harris. She was the one that presented me with the Blues Hall of Fame award that day.
A shout out to Brian Zed, I guess, of Visual Studio. But yeah, Brian takes a lot of good photos for our musicians in the Edmonton area.
Yeah. In fact, and Brian's photo we used to the cover of the What It Is album, and was the photo that you had as we were waiting to start the whole thing, the black and white. That was in his living room doing a house concert. I think it was for a New Year's Eve around 2011, maybe.
Nice. Yeah. Brian with the hats. He always had a hat on.
Yeah.
Cool. There you go. That's a very small harmonica there. How many notes can you make with that? What's the scale?
Well, it just looks small because I got big mitts. That's your 10-hole diatonic harmonica. This is it right here. Now it looks really big when it's in front of my fingers. Right? But when I put it in my hand, it's like, so you're just seeing a little piece of it there, but that's a diatonic harmonica. So technically, with the bends and stuff, I guess I can get maybe 10 or 11 out of the 12 notes with some hidden bends. But typically, it's diatonic is 8 notes, and then there's some bends. So you at least get 10 out of that. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, definitely enjoying your time on stage for sure. I can see that in the expression, just in the moment there. Yeah. Love it.
I love my life,
Well, yeah. What's the one sort of tip you would give to harmonica who let's just say beginner, a beginner harmonica? Let's say myself. Let's say I want to learn harmonica. What would be one advice you would give me?
Well, above and beyond all, first of all, music is a language. It's not a sport. It's not math. It's a language. So we learn how to speak language by repeating what we hear, not reading it. Reading comes after speaking. If you think about it, everybody that goes to grade school, by the time you're in your, just walking into grade 1 in the first grade, we already have a grip of the spoken language. We may not have the grammar and the spelling and all the do's and don'ts and the rules of nature of the written language, but we know the spoken language. So music is the same way. So I mean, I learned I'm self-taught with everything I've done. Nobody taught me how to sing or play the harmonica. So it's all kind of like, language lessons by listening so much that you can start to anticipate the notes before they're playing again because we've heard it. It's like, telling a good joke or a good story. You sort of got to have it memorized before you can actually release it, right?
Yeah,
so that I would say you have to study, like listen to the foundational, members, the masters of, and I'm not talking like, the Charlie Parkers of the world or the little Walters of the world. I'm talking like the basics. So I've always directed, new harp players. I said them like this. I started listening to Jimmy Reed and Slim Harpo, and I started to get that sinking into my skin to then try and repeat what I heard with my instrument. The other thing I'll tell you is like, this is the only instrument, the wind instrument, that we breathe through, okay? So all the other wind instruments in the world is blow only. You don't draw your air through a saxophone or clarinet or trombone or trumpet. You blow only. But the harmonica is like in and out. So it's a breathing instrument. And I'll tell you, when
they say you suck at saxophone, that's not a compliment.
No, but when you say you suck on a harmonica, that is, because that's where the money notes are. Yeah. There's more to you can't, it's just there's the money notes are the draw notes, not the blow notes so much on a diatonic cross position harmonica. But I do teach, online from time to time, just visual, like, a video chat, I've got a guy in Tucson, and there's a gal in the Bay Area. There's, like I said, the guy out there in Sault Ste. Marie, he lines up every once in a while. It's not like I've got a schedule and I've got these students that I see weekly, because I basically give you the tools to work the exercises out to develop enunciation, vocabulary, and technique, and eventually you then have what we all have, and that is enough tools to make up a conversation.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for sharing that. I'm going to flash through a few more photos here, my friend. Okay. So let's enjoy these together. There you are, just again. That's a special harp mic, obviously, right?
It's a custom-made microphone by a guy down in California, and it's also. I paid about an extra $400 US for the original static crystal element from 1947. So that's about $1,000 microphone. But it was definitely a money well spent.
Just like us guitar players, the difference between an okay player guitar and an awesome guitar, a lot of people wouldn't even notice, but we notice, and we tend to put the money when we can, anyway, when we can. So there you are.
Yeah, so that's all about that. That's just all that stuff. These photos right here is the induction of the Edmonton Blues Hall of Fame.
Your sound went funny again in terms of the just a couple seconds ago. It goes. So whatever it was, what I'm going to do is, if you can come right back in, I'm going to but I'm going to. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play the next video. So hold on for a moment. Hold on. I'm going to play this next video called, I think it is Warehouse Studios in 2018 recording session. I'll make it up to you. Does that sound like okay if I hit play on that?
2019. This is us recording live off the floor in Brian Adams' studio, Warehouse Studio in Gastown, BC. Down, Gastown. This is one of the tracks written. This song is written by Brandon Isaac. Actually, I'll make it up.
You bet. So I'll start the stream. Give me a second here. I'm going to go ahead and grab the YouTube link here, and just hang on so you can confirm that you hear my video when I play it here, my friend. But here's a video, and this video here is just being brought in here. I'm gonna get rid of that, and I'm just going to bring up in the video here, which is this one right here. No, that's the old one. Let me go like that. And there it is. And let's hit play. And let me know if you can hear the sound. And we're good. All right. If you can come back in, that'll be great.
I know, baby, I ain't been around. Where I'm a busy man, traveling town to town. I don't bring flowers like I used to do. Oh, sweet mama, I'll make it up to you. I know that, you know that, I know better. It's all the small things I do. I'll take your hand and cover you with kisses. Oh, sweet mama, I'll make it up to you. Miss you so. I'm gonna come on back. I'm never gonna let you go. I miss your birthday, anniversary too. Oh, sweet mama, I'll make it up to you. I know that, you know that, I know better. It's all the things I put you through. I'm gonna change my evil ways. Oh, sweet mama, I'll make it up to you. Oh, sweet mama, I'll make it up to you. Oh, sweet mama, I'll make it up to you.
Fantastic.
Well, all right.
Good. Yeah.
Look at that, Canada and everything. It's just like a film.
Well, we had some grant money from Creative BC and from Factor that helped us with that, very expensive recording session that we did. And of course, you see that was Steve Dawson on guitar. He was the producer of the album, and he produced right from the middle of the circle and just kind of, he was easy to work with. It's different when you get like a touring band that has kind of already got the performances kind of put together and the arrangements in some kind of a sensible order. So we're pretty tight. I took the band on a 2-week tour just before we did the 5-day or 4 days. We did that whole album in 4 days, in a row. And it was, November of 2018. We released the album April 26th, 2019. It's still in the top 10, in the classics, and it's still in the top 20 in just the regular kind of blues charts, over a year later. So it's doing quite well for us, yeah.
Yeah. Tell us about this next photo, my friend. This is the Hall of Fame induction.
Well, that's Jerry Harris. I've known her for, at least since I think it was maybe 99 when she was involved with a venue that was called Sha-Na-Na. And we did a couple of shows there around 1999, and that's when we become friends. Now, oddly enough, she's got a big family, and they're all from Edmonton, but one of her sisters was working for Tom Lavin at the Blue Wave Studios in Vancouver back in the early 90s. So, I knew her sister Diane before I knew Jerry, but it all kind of just a great family of art loving people. And Jerry's living out west now in Vancouver, and Diane I think is living out here, back in Edmonton. But so she was the one that was asked to present me my award, and it was nice to have because she's just a very dear friend. I love her to death. Yeah,
absolutely. Beware of Dog. I love it. Harpdog Brown and the Bloodhounds.
Yeah. So that was my first CD. Andy Graffiti put all that graphic work together while touring on the road back in 1991. We released this album in 92. And of course, we didn't have internet or laptops. He was doing it like, old school with paste and cut and paste and all that stuff. Yeah,
15
but he was
songs.
Kind of a graphic artist before there was computer graphic arts.
15 songs. That's a lot of tracks.
Yeah,
but by today's standard, that's not typical anymore these days, is it? Like 15? That's a lot, hey?
Yeah, I guess to me, it's not. I don't think it's about the duration as much as what it's got. But we had 10 originals and 5 covers on that album. My next album, Home Is Where the Harp Is, we did 16 tracks, and that was all live at a club, right? So yeah.
Yeah, there is that Beware of Dog again. I just want to show that full photo there.
Pete Turlin on Doghouse bass, Andy Graffiti on the drums, and Curtis Scarrow from Saskatoon on guitar.
Yeah, very cool. More dogs.
Yeah, well, that's the inside part of the Beware of Dog CD.
I just
we even had Dave Webb play piano on a couple of tracks. And that's who was on the last album,
And Doug reminds me of that Littlest Hobo that I used to watch back in the 80s and 90s or whatever that was. The Littlest Hobo, that little. Yeah,
right. Well, but that was true enough. Now here's the second lineup of Bloodhounds, 1990. No, this is the original Bloodhounds. Pardon me. That's on Joe Hora's porch out there in Delta Tawasin area, and that'd still be 1991. Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. There you go. I just want to show that full text on the bottom there. So yeah, there you are in your elements.
the cover shot of the 2016 album "Traveling with the Blues," and that photo was taken. Now this photographer was out in Hamilton, Ivan Sorensen, and he just passed away to cancer, like less than a couple of months ago. But he had a great eye, and I mean, when I say great eye, he had a glass eye, so he had a great eye for photography. It was a sweetheart of a guy. He had great choice.
There you go. I love it. Very distinguished. Very theatrical. It's theatrical.
Yeah, yeah.
Love it. Love it.
Another shot he took. Yeah. Same. That's the shot that Brian took in his living room. Yeah.
Yeah.
Notice the beard. See, I just started letting my beard grow back then. That was 2012 or so, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. Graham Guest, of course, you were with.
Yeah. See, there's the Travel to Blues album. That's 2016 release.
Yeah. Quite a few different folks joining you there on the album.
Yeah, I did a harmonica instrumental. I hired Charlie Musselwhite to come and share licks with me on a song called "Moose on the Loose." That was a highlight. You know, I've been a big fan of Charlie's, and we became friends about maybe 18 years ago when I did a double header with him at the Yale. And that's when we kind of connected and, you know, exchanged numbers and stuff. You know, when I email him, he responds. But yeah, so I drove up there, picked him up, paid his wife. His wife is his manager, Henrietta, and I paid her his fee. And we drove back down to Hayward, California, just north of the Bay, and we tracked, sitting side by side. Just I came up with the arrangement of who goes first and what to do, this, that, on the spot. We did it a couple of times, and then I had my manager driving back home so I could continue tracking that night. You know, so
wow.
But that was definitely a highlight, I adore Charlie. You know, he's such a grounded human, and so kind, and and approachable. If I was ever going to kind of try to be like anybody, I'd want to be like Charlie, because he's the sweetest guy I've ever met in this business. So
that's great.
Good to have him on the album.
Thank you for sharing that.
That's the truth. The dog's tail never lies.
Yes, I noticed that. Yeah. Oh, this must be, I'm going to guess, is it 60s or how far back?
No, 60s. 60s. I was born in 62. So, no, that was 1990. That was before the Bloodhounds. It was kind of the beginning of, the Bloodhounds. I was actually, I was on the island in Mill Bay, Mill Valley or something like that. Mill Bay, I think it is, just sort of around Duncan on Vancouver Island. There was a place called the Brigantine Inn, and I was doing a gig. I was backing up Marianne Guttani, and then that morphed into me coming back by myself with my band. So yeah, that's Big Ken Wilson on the Doghouse bass behind me there. But yes, the reason why I don't have any
very authentic.
there,
I mean, this could be a photo taken back in the day, like very authentic.
Yeah, well, it's black and white does that, but and the thing is, the reason why I didn't have any facial hair was because I just finished playing Blues Brothers tribute I hired in Vancouver in 1988 called Wired in '88, and I had to shave to be Elwood. Well, I preferred to be called Elweed than Elwood, but nonetheless, that's why I have no facial hair at that.
Hey, you could have had a Hollywood career there, my friend. You could have had a Hollywood career there if you pursued it.
If somebody had told me before, yes, I might have followed it. So now that photo is from the Commodore Ballroom in 1990, and once again, Steve, just the transition of from Elwood to Harpdog, right?
Yeah, love it. There you are, right? Hey, that ring, is there any significance to that ring there? Is just a nice ring or?
Well, I bought that ring in the car business. I was selling cars. Hugh McCall in 1985,
Mm-hmm.
Cadillac, Buick, GMC, and Lamborghini.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, the first time I made some real money, I went to the pawn shop to
Mm-hmm.
get something out of the hawk shop. I think it was Ed's Exchange on 97th, and I
Uncle
saw
Ed's
that.
exchange. Uncle
Yeah,
Ed's.
yeah. And I saw that, and it was a gold nugget.
Mm-hmm.
There was gold nuggets in that pinky ring, and I bought it because I thought it was, classy, right? I
Love
ended
it.
up trading it with a peeler that I met in Calgary because she had one that was a little more, I don't know, I guess rugged. And,
Okay, yeah.
so we just did a trade in the parking lot. I said, hey,
Mm-hmm.
I like your ring better than mine. She said, I like yours better than mine. So we just traded. So, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. This is another
the people we
album for
meet.
love or money, for love and money.
Yeah, we actually pressed that on vinyl. So it's my first LP as well as CD. And of course, when you buy the vinyl, you get a download card because 5 songs couldn't make the duration of 17 and a half minutes per side. So we included download card of the whole album, but you get all 8 original Canadians on the vinyl.
I
So
must say, this is the Sean Connery look, my friend. This is like the Canadian Sean Connery, Anybody ever said that? Hunt
there
for
you
Red
go.
October.
There you go.
Love it.
Hey, that shot, I believe, was taken by Jim Good, maybe, and I think it was at the Big Al's House of Blues or something, that
Yes.
ended up becoming Rusty Reed's House of Blues for a minute
Yeah.
or two.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
Yeah,
think that's where that shot's from.
I know which harp that is. That's a B flat, isn't it? Just kidding. It says right on there.
Yeah. Well, so that means I was playing in the key of F.
Okay, cool.
That's the second album I did with Graham. I did 2 albums with Graham Guest. We did them all in 24 hours, 3 8-hour sessions at Homestead Studios with, God bless, Barry Allen. He was the one that owned that and engineered both those sessions. We went in there because he had a nice, great grand piano to work with, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Barry was just a doll.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We lost him too. That's the back cover of the Home is What a Harp Is album in 1994, Portland, Oregon, on Candlelight Records. 16 tracks. See?
Nice, very nice. Rocket 88. Jumped
Yeah.
out. Very good. Oh, look at that. More harps.
Yeah, that used to be my harp tray, and to notice I'm in America, so the cigarettes in the middle are the Marlboros, but normally in Canada. Now I don't, I don't know. I'm losing the love for smoking, but I'm still smoking. But I would, up until last February, I would always bring my Canadian John Player specials down to America. If I'm down for 3 weeks, I would bring 3 cartons because basically I'd do like a pack a day on the road. So,
Yeah.
anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
There's that Hollywood dog again that nobody told me about.
There you go. But I don't know if you would have as much fun as you've been telling us about all the fun you have on stage playing music. I don't know if Hollywood is that fun by comparison.
You're probably right. Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool.
So that's the Juno-nominated, Muddy Award-winning album, Home is What a Harp Is.
Yeah. Very nice.
That's the one live with the Bat. It was recorded on Friday the 13th, the year 2000, under a full moon in October. Friday the 13th.
Wow.
I found out that full moon is a rare moon, and they call it a howling moon. So I called the album Once in a Howling Moon. And we had Willie McCalder, the piano player, the original piano player of Powder Blues, on tour with us. So we got him featured on that album.
Mm-hmm.
There's the photo from KRBD Radio in Ketchikan, Alaska. You see Jimmy Gabosh with all that hair just behind me on the left. Gary Latimer the bass, and Kelly Cruz in the corner on the snare and kick drum. And the DJ is the only one that had headphones. Well, I kind of had headphones too, so I could hear what was going on between the two mics. One that was close to me, the other one that was sort of between the bass and the drummer. And we
So
just did the live broadcasts in that DJ booth in KRBD in Ketchikan, Alaska. So yeah.
yeah, I want to get this right. So this is Jimmy Gabosh right here, where
That's
I'm
before
pointing.
he cut his hairs. Yeah. 1996.
Yeah, very cool.
And
Very
then,
cool.
the drummer is Kelly Cruz, who I see, is playing with Cat Dancer. And, he tours with Amos Garrett. I saw him I see Kelly on tour when we, festivals and stuff, we get to see people,
Yeah,
otherwise we just, we just see the highways, right?
yeah, yeah.
Photo shoot down in LA, the art district of LA. This is photography from Mark Marianovich, who is a Canadian guy, lives down in LA, but he's like a photographer to the stars. And luckily he, even shoots me. So yeah, we used him for a few different shoots.
I don't
over
know
the course
why,
of
but
last
I don't
year.
know why, but the Godfather comes to mind. No,
Yeah, the dog father.
the
Yeah.
Dogfather.
Portland, Oregon, 1994. Dude says to me, man, you got to see I've got this 1962 Eldorado Cadillac, and it's the same color as your suit. So, yeah,
There you are.
that's me and Pete Turlin. That would have been, back in the 90s as well.
Yeah.
This is I got that sharkskin jacket. I was wearing that same sharkskin jacket at the Waterfront Festival. Yeah, and I picked that up in a used clothing store line in Missoula, Montana. And I'm wearing the Washington Blues Society T-shirt there, the B.B. King Washington Blues Society tee
Yeah,
back in those days. Yeah.
I see it.
So yeah. Now, this is a good story too. We just finished playing the Nanaimo Blues Fest 2018, I guess. We wanted, and Mark Marianovich happened to be in the area, so he walked on the ferry. We did a photo shoot. We're driving around looking for cool places, and we see this another purpley, like it sort of matched the color of that maroon shirt I'm wearing.
Mhm.
And we passing it. We end up getting in a red light, and I pour the window down, and I asked the dude if we could use his car in a photo shoot, and he was cool enough to let us do that. So he followed us to a little area, and he let us kind of pose around this
Nice.
wickedly cool car.
You know,
So yeah,
many people wouldn't even think to ask, and you pull it off. You pull it off. It must be must have had that trustable face or trusting face, or you know what I mean.
yeah. Well, I mean, when you have something that cool, and then you got a band that wants to photo shoot in it, it's like, how do you say no? He didn't give me the keys; he just let me sit in it.
Yeah. No, very cool. Well, this could be like a what is it, Iron Chef kind of a look. I don't know if you ever watched Iron Chef, but
No, I don't. I don't have cable television.
I don't watch TV.
But I see that, and I kind of say like, "You talking to me?"
You're talking to me, yeah.
Another wise guy kind of a thing.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool.
I wasn't really having the best beard day that day. I see, not like today.
Mm-hmm. It's the natural, free flowing, not sculpted kind of.
Oh no, I don't sculpt it. This is natural. This is what happens. It's just Now, see what happened is I drove from where were we? We were staying in a house in Arcadia. So I showered and I put on my stage clothes and I drove to, the arts district. And I mean, just the wind and the, seat belt and all that stuff kind of gets in the way of all the natural kind of glory that I don't spend. It just, I let it get wet. And this is what it does. I've had people ask me, like girls, women should, say, do you curl that? And, show my man how to do that with his beard. It's it's just there. It does what it wants to do. I just host it. Oh,
there you go.
My photo shoot.
The days before the beards, a few years before.
Yeah, you can see I still had that wanderlust in my eyes, though. I mean, I was definitely a handful for my adopted mother. I was like, just wandering blocks and blocks away, and I'm like less than 5 years old, and she's like, I was put it this way, I caused a lot of worry.
You were a free spirit, sounds
I
like.
was curious, always have been, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, the Maple Blues Award we spoke about earlier.
Yeah, I've got 4 of those. Okay, this shot. This is yesterday's paper, my very first blues band I put together. So, that was at the Riverdale Hall, but the second hall, not the first hall that they had to tear it down. This was the second hall, and there was a guy back then they called Buck, and he was like buck 80, and then in 81 he was buck 81, and then in 82 he was buck 82, and then in 83 he was buck 83, and he produced the put the show on for us. But that's so you're gonna see I think photos of that band, my very first blues band. So take a look once again. I really wasn't much for shaving.
Did he have a twin brothers where he was $2?
Buck and a half, yeah.
Love it. That's a tenor saxophone there with a
that's right, yeah.
Metal, some sort of metal mouthpiece there. Looks like.
Well, yeah, but the mouthpiece, but the reed is still bamboo, right? Like,
absolutely. Although I have actually seen some reeds that are plastic reeds, but nobody probably likes that. That probably doesn't sound quite right.
I don't know. Would have to talk to a plumber. My dog, my Alaskan Malamute wolf pup by the name of Tundra. So that would be about early 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very cool. Oh, this.
Okay, here we are backing up Pine Top Perkins of the King Eddie.
Mm-hmm.
That would be 1992. Andy Graffiti back there on the tubs. Now, Pine Top worked us hard. I mean, like the first set was about an hour and a half, almost 2 hours, and he just really worked hard, and it was really a great experience, and every time after that, he always seemed, at least he played like he recognized me, when I'd say hi,
Yeah.
Another shot from that show at the Riverdale Hall in the 80s.
Yeah, very cool.
That's Mike Ross. He used to write for The Sun. He was the rock critic for The Sun. But he was a great piano player, and he co-wrote that song "No Eyes for Me" with me. And now he's got some other thing online that he's quite a shaker and mover and a sweetheart of a guy. Mike Ross,
wonderful, Mike Ross.
Okay, that's live at the Commodore Ballroom. Me and the Bloodhounds, the original Bloodhounds.
Mm-hmm. Wow, 1, 2, 5-piece band.
Yeah.
Oh,
there's
that's
the microphone I'm talking about that from Greg Human. Blowsmeaway.com is his website. Blows me. That's made of wood, and it's got a volume on the back that's you full it when the lines line up, it's in full volume.
In
the back there it's called the stealth volume, right?
Got it.
And then he puts your name or your initials or something on the grill if you want for an extra couple of bucks, But hey, when are you going anywhere, go big or not at all, right?
There you go.
That's the original. Yes, that's the yesterday's paper with more horns. I added, I had a 3-piece horn section right out of Grant McEwen College. But so that was yesterday's paper, kind of a photo shoot back in 1982, cool. I guess it'd be, yeah.
Look at those thin ties back then. I can just predict if you follow that tie down, it'd be a very thin tip. I'm gonna guess, maybe.
Yeah, but it was not squared off, But okay, that's the cover of Raw Dog. Now this is kind of interesting. I was doing a live performance in a large music store in Portland, Oregon, and on the backside of a Jimmy Dawkins poster,
Mm-hmm.
one of the staff members took a felt pen and drew that based on the poster that I had of the album "Home Is What a Harp Is." He drew that, and when I saw that we were leaving on the way out, and somebody said, "Hey, did you see the sketching that Tommy or Jerry or whoever it was did?" And I said, "No." And he shows it to me. I said, "My God, that's great. Can I keep it?" Of course you can. So I took it. And then I had, my buddy Mark Pierce kind of tweak it a little bit and clean it up. And we used that for the cover of the Raw Dog cassette that, like I said, I made a few copies of back in the 90s just to share that moment of, going back in time to that, just two mics in a DJ booth.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But yeah.
There you go.
There you go. There it is. Yeah.
This is the before, or there's the thing, and then there's the album.
Yeah.
Cover.
Yeah.
Cool.
No, I think we've kind of made full circle. I've seen that shot before.
Yeah. So let me pause.
There you go. Sugar Blue. Yep. Yeah. Sorry. Sidetrack Cafe. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Of course.
I was cassette, and that was 1991.
Yeah.
We were there for 4 days, I think, or 5 days, and we were recording just to hear what we sounded like and make sure we were doing things right. And it sounded so good, we decided to put together a cassette, and so we did.
Hey, I want to show maybe part of two video clips here. The next one I want to show is the One Step Forward dance video at the Wise Hall in Vancouver, BC. So I'm going to cue that up. Tell us a bit about that before I cue it up for, we'll just watch some of it here.
Okay, well, so, my manager, God bless him, he's, able to kind of get some of these grant funds, and to do some bigger things that we could do out of our pocket. Mm-hmm. And when he asked me what song, to do as a dance song, I told him that that we've noticed on the dance floor this song that I wrote, I co-wrote with Wayne Berzan, called "One Step Forward and 3 Steps Back." I was talking about, how life sometimes, gets in the way, and no matter how hard you try, you seem to be losing ground, like kicking water uphill sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And the old 1 step forward, 3 step back. And we noticed that the dance floor, people were starting to dance like that. They were 1 step forward, 3 steps back. So, my trombone player said, "Dog, this could be a dance." And I thought that was cool. So when Ken, my manager, says, "What song do you want to do off the album to have dancing and whatnot?" I told him the whole situation, and it was a no-brainer. So we did it. We rented the Wise Hall. We got Gene Greenwood, one of the best videographers and in the business, to come and do his magic. And here we go. And we got the Vancouver blues fusion dancers, and a few of them even from Washington came up to join us and into this dancing business of the One Step Forward official dance video.
Yeah, let's take a listen. Can you hear it?
1 step forward, 3 steps back. 1 step forward, 3 steps back. A lifetime spent towing the line, pushing real hard just to keep on time. But the lines of sand continue to change. Am I gonna have to start all over again? It doesn't seem to matter how far I get. It's 1 step forward and 3 steps back. Consider the story of poor old Job. He had it all and he was pure as snow. But he lost his daughters and all his sons. Job asked the Lord, what have I done? The Lord said, man, you ain't the only one. but it's a life I chose. I'll kick and scratch just to see where it goes. You can hold me up, but you can't hold me down. I just keep on driving till I hit the next town. It don't seem to matter how far I get. It's one step forward, 3 steps back. 1 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 step forward, 3 steps back.
That's fantastic. Lots of fun.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I want to show one more video yet, but before we go there, tell us, you have a Facebook page that has over 10,000 likes and whatnot. Tell us, when did you start that, and how did that come about?
I mean, it boils down to, like, Facebook is, got this thing going on, right? So, you can have your profile, which is limited to 5,000 friends.
Mm-hmm.
But then they came up with pages for businesses.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, that has no limit.
Mm-hmm.
So, and ultimately, I didn't get into Facebook looking for old school chums or anything. It was all about, just promoting my live music and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, it's kind of, you got to have a profile, but, or it seemingly.
Mm-hmm.
I created the page when I saw other bands being, on the page. So, it kind of keeps things somewhat directed to business page, personal stuff, even though my business is my personal stuff, right? So, I mean, like, there's a fine line between, every day is a day at, at the job site. Like, I mean, my store is always open, So.
Yeah.
So when you're searching through through Facebook, you put in Harpdog Brown, you should see Harpdog Brown Live, which is the business page, where you don't become a friend, you become a liker and a follower. Mm-hmm. And then Harpdog Brown, different photograph, and that's my personal page that has a limitation on, like, up to 5,000 friends, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, they're very cool. Now, your sound about 20 seconds ago or so, 30 seconds ago, went a little tinny again. So I'm going to have you come out and back in. This phone thing, I don't know, it's not as stable as computers. So, but I'm going to play the next video. So hang on for a moment. I'm going to start the next video, and then after I start that, then we can address that, my friend. So the next video that I'm going to bring up is CBC Studios in Vancouver, BC, of course, and it was the demo, Reefer Lovin' Woman. So let me just pull it up here, my friend, and we'll hit play, and then we'll get you to correct that sound issue there, or do what it wants us to do. So I'm going to, so this is the... one step forward. No, we want it to be. Any comment on this one here before I hit play?
Even though I'm tinny?
Yeah, let me go ahead and hit play. So here it is, and can you see it? Can you hear it? Hold on, let me adjust the volume, okay? Let me adjust the volume.
Yeah, I can sort of hear it, but not really.
Here we go.
There we go. We're good.
Here come my baby rolling down the track. fact, but she's a reefer loving woman. I hear a reefer loving woman. Man, she's a reefer loving woman, and that's alright with me. She got a cool disposition, but she speak her mind to keep me on my toes most all the time. And she's a reefer loving woman. I hear a reefer loving woman. Man, she's a reefer loving woman, and that's alright with me. Blow your horn.
Very cool. Trombone and everything. Oh, and that's the toilet plunger.
Oh, yeah.
Question for you, my friend, as we round the corner on wrapping this up. We've been running for quite a while now, and
I probably broke the record.
Yeah, we broke the record. You got the record so far. So here's the thing. There's some audio clips that I wouldn't mind showing or sharing some of those if you'd like to share any of those. If not, it's up to you. I got some audio clips here, my friend. Yeah,
hey, by all means. I mean, that's why are we on Spotify and Apple and YouTube and all that stuff. It's not for the money. It's for sharing the love, right? So
yeah. Let me just give our viewers, listeners, a taste of what they will find on Spotify and wherever have you in terms of the audio here, my friend. So I'm going to go and just literally just do this, and I'm going to go ahead and share the screen here, and I'm going to share the entire screen here, and we're going to do that screen 2. I'm going to bring it in here, make myself scarce, and so the first one, I'm just going to play a little bit of each track just to get a taste. Okay, so let's maybe do that. I'm going to. They don't really need to see that, so I'm going to go like this. So here we go. Let me know if you can hear the sound.
Yeah, that sounds good. That's no line for me.
Love it, love it.
No eyes on me. I saw you pass me by. You're all I see, baby. But I don't know why I waited too long for someone to love. And now you're gone, baby. I think it's suffered enough. Well, why can't it be like that show on TV where the hero gets his woman every time? giving no sign. I guess I have to wait, baby. They did the boogie real slow with the blue lights way down low. They did the boogie real slow with the blue lights way down low. I went to a party. I went with the Bobby socks at the party. Man, I really got a shock. They did the boogie real slow with the blue light way down low. They did the boogie real slow with the blue lights way down low. I started swinging. How shit did. Well, I know my baby is gonna jump and shout. Yeah, I know my baby, she's gonna jump and shout. When the train rolls in and I come walking out. So hold up, baby, I'll be home someday. Yeah, hold up, baby. Darkness has found me alone where the wind blows, caught in a snowstorm, try to ease my hunger pains. Now all the women on Broadway, they're running on empty. How could they make me feel more alone?
Do you post these elsewhere beyond Spotify as well, my friend, or no?
Well, my manager does all that stuff. So yeah, I'm on like iTunes and Spotify and any kind of, and YouTube and, like, you just Google it. It's probably on Google Music too. It's like pretty well anywhere that has it. My manager's got it there for sure. Yeah.
Wonderful. What I'd like to do, my friend, as we wrap this up here, feel free to share any story or anecdotes or kind of insights or anything that you want to share. But what I'm going to do is I'm going, just for fun, I'm going to pull up the photo album that we had earlier, and I'm going to just go ahead and kind of spin it through here. And as I spin it through, feel free to just kind of talk through what you want to summarize and take us out with your closing comments and anything that you want to share stories wise, my friend. Take us home with whatever you want to say or do or sing or whatever. I'm going to go ahead and bring this back in here. I believe this is the correct one. You know what? I'm going to be better, and I'm going to actually share this one instead. And we'll make that happen. We'll make that happen. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go like this. And
all right. Well, my first cassette, live at the Sidetrack Cafe. We had a lot of fun. That was my original Bloodhounds, 1991.
yeah,
Recorded all, with house sound and everything. So there's times where you could actually even hear the clinking of glasses and ashtrays.
yeah. So just as we sort of wrap it up here, I'll let you do the closing remarks while the photos just sort of flashes by there. But feel free to take us out in any way that you like, my friend.
Okay. Well,
for the time you spent with us, by the way, and an awesome career and a fantastic lots of rich blues music and lots of different famous people in your interactions, and yourself being quite famous and all of that good stuff. And but as we close this conversation, feel free to share any stories or insights with our viewers.
Well, I think I'm pretty spent. I mean, you asked me for an hour, I give you 2.5. I think, and it's beyond that now. So, and this is archived for somebody to watch. If they can't fall asleep at night, maybe they can just listen to my spin in the web of stories. I gotta say, I've been in it for up to 40 years now, and I feel like a teenager in the blues world. I'm still only 58 years old. I got a lot in me. As long as if there's a place for us to do our thing, I will be there doing it again. Otherwise, hey, it's been a hell of a journey and a great ride. And I have no regrets. Even the mistakes have been some of the best lessons I could never have learned by not making a mistake, So with that in mind, make all the mistakes you can. Just calculate your risks because, you only get hit by a train once. So, that's a bad calculation. So, calculate your risks. Take risks on a daily basis, but calculated ones. Put yourself into a little bit of a uncomfortable zone because that's where you kind of really get to know what your capacity and capabilities are. We're here on the planet to do one thing: grow into the best human being we can be. Not the best human being that we want to be or wish I could be like him. Just find out where you belong. Be the best you can be for those of you and around you. And that's all I ever kind of try to do, and I'll plan to continue doing that one way or another. But I want to thank you, Dune, for having me and inviting me to sit and spin some stories. I tell you, there's no lies. It's all true. They say truth is stranger than fiction, and God damn it, they're right. We're living in a science fiction movie right now. I just hope that it ends better than it began. That being said, I look forward to seeing you all in the future. If the future has us together, I look forward to it. Thank you, Dylan.
Thank you so much, Sir Harpdog Brown, and to our viewers out there now and later watching the recording, thank you so much for your time and participation in the conversation here, and hopefully you enjoy the music that Mr. Harpdog Brown has shared over the stories and the insights and the lessons along the way. Take care of yourself, folks. Take good care of one another. Until we meet again, have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thanks, Dylan.
Thanks. Mr. Harpdog Brown. Thanks, dog.